All right, it's time to do some taste tests today. These are all from my tomato project. I crossed a couple of tomatoes a few years ago, and last year I grew the F1 generation, and this year I'm growing the F2 generation. So you have a lot of variability. I'll get my notes so I can keep track of which ones are which, but we're starting over here with, I've got them numbered. We're starting with 2, 4, 6, 10, 12, and 27. The number 6, which is this one is also a number 6. I'm going to use the smaller one to do the taste test. I just wanted you to see how big they do get. This is one of the smaller ones, but it was loaded. Now let's get to the taste test. All right, we're going to start with number 2. I'm just going to cut it in half so we can see what the inside looks like. It's got pretty good meatiness. I like that. The 2 tomatoes that I crossed, one was a determinate plant that was variegated, and the other was a dwarf indeterminate. And this particular number 2 is a dwarf indeterminate that had 24 tomatoes on it when I counted them. I'm going to see what it tastes like. It's got very good flavor. It's got good sweetness, and it's got just enough acidity to give it some pop. But I tasted a couple of the other ones earlier on. I can't remember what numbers, but they were a little milder than this one. This has got really good flavor. I like it a lot. And this plant is a dwarf indeterminate, and it's about 3.5 to 4 feet tall right now, if I remember correctly. Now we'll cut into number 4. This one is just a tiny bit overripe, I think. It's got good color in it. I like that. Now let's take a taste of it. It doesn't have quite as much flavor as the number 2 did. If I had to pick between the 2, I would definitely pick number 2, even though it had a little bit fewer tomatoes. Let me see my notes. It says number 4 had 25 tomatoes and is 3 feet tall, and the other one just had 24, just one difference, and number 2 had much better flavor, so I like that one quite a bit better. Now we'll go to number 6. Now this number 6 has some bigger tomatoes. It was the first one to set on. The only thing I don't like about it compared to some of the other tomatoes I have is that it doesn't set all that great in the heat. It only has 2 small ones up towards the top of the plant. But let's taste it and see what we think. It has very good flavor. This is an indeterminate, and right now it's about close to 5 feet tall or so. And I went ahead and topped it because I didn't need it to grow anymore. I've already seen what it can do. And it had 26 tomatoes on it. And those tomatoes are fairly large, so it's a good overall tomato, I think. If I had to rank the 3, I would rank number 2 the best, number 6 second, and number 4 third. Number 10 is a dwarf determinate that's only about 2 feet tall right now, and it has 24 tomatoes on it, which is pretty good for a small size plant. And the tomatoes are a little bit smaller also, as you can see. It's got good color. It might be just a little overripe. Try it out. That's got decent flavor. If I had to compare it to the other three that I've tried already, I think it tastes quite a bit like number 4. But it's a variegated dwarf determinate, so it's kind of an interesting plant, but I don't know if I'll carry it forward or not just because of the taste. I'm really liking number 2 so far. Now let's try number 12. This is one that I'm really looking forward to tasting because I like the plant a lot. It has over 40 tomatoes on it right now and is setting fruit up towards the top of the plant. It's a variegated indeterminate, but it's what I would call barely variegated. Compared to the rest of them, it just had a little bit of variegation and a few leaves, and very little at all now. Now let's see what we look like inside. Some of the tomatoes that are on the plant right now are probably twice this big, but I think this will be enough to give us a good idea of what they taste like. Well, I'll be definitely trying some of those later. This one has more acidity than any of the rest of them. And sadly, I would have to say the taste so far, I would rank it below the other 4. But sometimes growing conditions can change, and that can change the taste of the tomato. So we've been having a lot of rain. I don't know if that had an effect on the taste of any of these, but once we dry out, I'll do some more taste tests and see if the taste of these stays the same or if it changes. This is one that I like a lot. It's number 27. Let me get my notes so I know what I'm talking about. It's only 1.5 feet tall right now. I've got it growing in a plastic pot, about a 5-gallon pot. It's variegated and it's a determinate dwarf. So it grows to a certain size, produces whatever tomatoes it's going to produce, and then it quits like determinants do. But right now it has 18 tomatoes on it. Well, 17 now that I picked this one off. But I'm hoping for a good flavor on this one because I really like the plant. It's fairly meaty. Looks like it might be just a hair underripe. Sometimes it's hard to get a feel for when a tomato is ripe compared to other tomatoes. I'll give it a try. It's got good flavor. I don't think it beats number 2, but I would put it close. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to carry this one forward. Number 2 I'll carry forward just because of the taste. And some of these other ones are going to be question marks right now, depending on what they taste like later in the season. Right now, out of this group, I found 2 that I'm going to carry forward. That would be the number 2 and the number 27. And some of these other ones are going to be borderline, so I'll have to keep an eye on them and taste some more tomatoes and see what I think later on in the season. But I have at least 2 that I'm carrying forward so far. Let me know what you think about these tomatoes, and let me know what you think about my tomato cross project. I'm really liking the variety so far, and I have a couple that I'm going to carry forward, and we'll see if I can add to that list. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. It really does help if you like the video. If you want to do me a favor, just click that like button right now. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.